Hey guys, it's CodedSteele and welcome to another processing tutorial. A couple of quick notes, guys. I know it's been a while since I've made a video and I do apologize for that. I'm trying to get myself on a regular schedule to where you guys will know, hey, this video is coming out this day, that video is coming out that day. Right now, everything's just kind of like whenever I feel in the mood, and I'm going to try to stop that so we can get a regular schedule situated out here. Be aware, I will be returning to some of the C programming tutorials eventually, but for now, my next video probably is going to be a new series which will be on electric circuits. So I can show you guys what voltage, current, resistance, and all that stuff is. So if you're interested in how any of that stuff works or how electronics are built, hardware-wise, you've taken a breadboard apart before or circuit board apart before and you've taken a look at it and you wonder, what the heck is this doohickey? That's what that set of tutorials is going to be for. We'll show you guys a bunch of cool stuff involving electronics. But anyways, for now, let's move on to some processing. What we're going to build today is this. We're just going to build a keyboard that's going to respond to different presses that we make. And I mean, I can just show you guys, I can jitter around with it. It shows the key letter inside of it and whatever else. And space bar, left click, center click, and right click of the mouse. We got all these different clicks. So how do we build something like this? It's going to take everything that we've learned so far in processing to build this. So we're just going to jump right into it then, guys. The escape key. I designed the escape key so you don't have to hit the X. I can just hit escape and it'll exit the code. So let's start building this cool little thing, and then I'll explain it all to you guys so you can understand how all this works. And then we can move on to some more complicated tutorials in the future. So we're just going to size the window 600 by 400, which is not what we usually do, but for this tutorial that works perfectly. And then I'm going to initialize a few variables here. Just going to initialize a car character and then just 2 or 3 booleans. Sorry. Alrighty. So we've got our 3 boolean variables and our character variables. And then after that, we're just going to head straight down into draw and start with some of the action type coding. So what do we got to do down in here? Well, what we've got to do first is we just got to say int x equal to 50, y equal to 50. You guys will figure that out later. And then I'm just going to kind of go ahead and hold on a second, guys. Someone's calling me. I'm sorry about that, guys. Now, where were we? We were just about to type this monstrosity of a for loop. So, and then I just do I++, blah de blah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to put a whole bunch of if statements inside of this for loop. So what's the significance of that? I'll show you guys that in a second. So we're going to say if key holder is equal to 1 and this I is equal to 0, then we want to do something. What do we want to do? All we want to do basically is just say fill 255 at that point. Why are we doing that? You guys will see in just a second. You guys will have to see in just a second. It's kind of be weird. Anyways, what I'm going to do after that is just say else if key holder is equal to 2. I'm not just going to type all of the stuff out at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it from my other source in just a second. And then we're basically just typing the same thing. Fill is 255. So I'm going to kind of pause the video here and update the code automatically. What you guys have to understand is that it's going to go, the pattern's going to be 255 inside each and every single one of these, and it's going to go 1, 2, 0, 1, and whatever else. I'll show you guys kind of all of it when it's done. Okay guys, here is the code updated here. This is what I have so far. I did get rid of the curly braces. I don't know why I put them in there when I was kind of showing you guys. You don't need them. Get rid of them. They're just add length to your code and make it more of an eyesore to look at. So this is kind of what the code looks like so far. So then we're just going to add a few more statements here, and it's just going to be else fill is going to be just 0. So as you guys can see here, this for loop is going to loop through here each and every single time. One of these conditions goes false, it won't allow this block to execute. That's what all these ampersands do. Both of these conditions must be true, or the if loop will not execute and it'll default to this, or it'll constantly check each of these. So each of these ifs will be checked each iteration of the for loop, just for understanding's sake. Hopefully you guys can see why that would happen, because they're else ifs and whatever else. Each of them will be if this one fails, I apologize for guys, I was wrong. If one of them fails, it checks the other one until another one succeeds. So you guys should know all about that from previous tutorials of the if loop and whatever else. And then the final thing we're going to do here is we're just going to type in this rect function. It's just going to be x from 30 and 40 and 40. So this is the position. This is the y position. This is the x position, the y position, then the length and the width. We want the length and the width to be the same for. Now you guys should understand why this x that I have here is equal to 50. So what we're going to do then is at the end down here is we're just going to say x plus equal to 50 to move x over each and every single time. So if we built this code now where it's at, we should see a few numbers here. And it won't do anything so far because we don't have it taking input from the keyboard yet. That'll be happening here in just a second though. So we can see that we've got 10 blocks, each for 1 through 0, and that is it. Nothing responds to anything yet. So now that that's all out of the way, we move down to the next part of the code, which is another lengthy for loop. Wow, is this code long. So x equals 75 is what I set it after these. All of these x constraints that I have here, guys, these are for proper spacing. That's all that's doing is controlling the spacing and whatever else. So let's do now another for, and we'll just say int. We're just going to do another int I equal to 0. This for loop will be pretty much the same as previous for loops. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk you through, guys, through the first few steps of this, and then we're probably going to end this video off here in a second because it's going to get very long if we kept going. Anyways, another lengthy for loop, and it's just going to be another one of these, basically. If car, key holder, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in here. And what this is going to actually be is it's going to be a Q, and it's going to be 0. I hope you guys can see where this is going at this point, and this is going to be an if, not an else if. I hope you guys can see where this is going at this point. It's going to be a lengthy for loop. Let me guys show you just the next one. It's going to be W, and then it's going to be 1. It's basically going to be the same as we did above now, except for the second row. So the QWERTY level, QWERTY UEOP, I guess is what you could say. And we're going to do all the way to P, all the way from Q to P, and then that will be the end of the second row of the keyboard. So I'm going to pause that and I'm going to update the code and show you guys. Okay, guys, so here we are now. We've got this second line done for the QWERTY. So let's build this so I can show you guys kind of what it's doing so far. And, oh, we didn't add in, we can't build it yet because we're missing a few things. That's right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to fill in the else like we did for the previous one. It's going to be pretty much the same else and whatever else. Here, else, I'm saying else a million times. Sorry. Else, fill 0, blah, blah, blah. Same stuff as we had above. And then this is all for spacing constraint. 80, we're moving down 50 pixels for another line because I think we had 30 before. And then the rectangles are going to remain the same. So now if we build this, we should see a second line of blocks underneath. There we go. All spacing constraints. So you can kind of see, if you guys looked at your keyboard, 1 and Q, it looks like they're kind of, the spacing is the same between the key, the same relationship. And that's what I was attempting to do when I wrote this code. Try to make it look like an actual keyboard on screen. So that's kind of what we got so far. Still no interaction or whatever. So you know what? We're going to add some interaction before this video is over. Otherwise, I mean, why did we go through all of this nonsense so far? I kind of want to show you guys how to add some interaction. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add in the key released and the key pressed function. So we're just going to say void key pressed, and all that's going to do is just going to take key holder, which is the variable that we declared above, and just set it equal to key. That's all we want to do here. And well, not all we want to do. Yeah, actually that is all we want to do. Sorry. That is all we want to do in there for now. And then the other thing we're going to do is just say key released, and we're going to spell it wrong. Very wrong. And then what we're going to do is in here we're just going to say key holder is equal to 0 to erase whatever was in key holder. There's a reason we're doing that, so we can get it to flash black and white. You guys will see that in just a second. Now we're actually going to have some interaction with the keyboard, which is kind of what we want, right? So if you guys look, we're getting the squares that correspond to that letter or that number to light up now. So cool, you know, we're actually getting some action here and whatever else. That's awesome. So that's kind of what it's doing so far. Nothing really, you know, it's not complete or whatever else, so we can't see, you know, everything that it's going to be doing. But just to kind of walk you guys through this really fast, and then I'm going to end this video. Sizing, you know, just nothing new, whatever else. Key holder, this is just something that we use to set key equal to down in the key pressed function. These are booleans that we're not using yet, so honestly I'm just going to comment these out for now because I'm not going to explain those. Then we go to our draw function. This is for positioning, so you guys know that. 50, move by 50, whatever else. Set fill 0, so it's black, you know. And then we go down into this for loop. And then in the for loop, we take care of a bunch of housekeeping type stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This is what's changing the color of the squares. So, and then we just change the fill back to 0 if none of these constraints are met. So remember, each one, if once one of these if loops passes, that's it. So if this fails and this is true, then this executes, none of the rest of this executes. But if that fails, that fails, that fails, that fails, that fails, that fails, then this executes, these are skipped. So just be aware of that's how this chain works. Once something passes, the rest of it gets skipped until the rect function. So, and then this will happen for 10 iterations. So the same thing, rect, we're drawing a rect down here, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're taking care of spacing constraints. That's what's going on here, just rect and the spacing constraints. More spacing constraints. This is the exact same thing as I did above. If you understand the stuff from above, you understand this. It's just switching it out with the actual QWERTY letters. Then we got the key pressed. All this is, we're setting key, which is the variable key. When we press a key on the keyboard, it gets stored in this variable, and we're just setting it equal to our own variable, and then we use it up here in our code. Just for a little bit more neatness and whatever else. We do that so we can also clear it in this key release function. We have a variable to clear. We can't clear the key variable. We can only clear a variable that we declare. So that's why I declare key holder equals key, and then we can clear our own key holder variable. So this is what makes it possible for the squares to change color and whatever else. So that's what you guys need to know about all that stuff. So anyways, that's all we have time for this tutorial. The next tutorial we will be finishing this stuff up. I will probably be moving through it quick, fast, and in a hurry so we can get it done. Anyway, guys, stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next processing tutorial.